Full time at the Butts Park Arena, Coventry United 1, Lutterworth Town 1. We're here with Ellis Alleyne back in the dugout for tonight after a well-earned holiday. Ellis, two teams that hope to be at the right end of the table come the season end, and it was in a 1-1 draw. Doesn't really do much for either team. What were your thoughts on today's game?
A lot of point to point, we'll take it. It's a shame we've dropped points at home. I think that credit to Lutterworth, they've come out of the blocks really quick. I feel like we had the first 4 or 5 minutes where we were looking, we were going to take an early lead. However, they've gone up the other end on their first attack of the game and they've managed to put the ball in the back of the net. And then obviously it's an uphill fight from there. We responded well. I feel like we took control of the game after about 15-20 minutes. We created chances, we created good moments of play. We were knocking the ball around. Unfortunately, we didn't fully make it count to the way we should have. I feel like the game by half time could have been a home and dry, to be fair, but it wasn't. And the longer you keep teams that are willing to graft and willing to fight in a game, they're going to consistently do that. And that's exactly what they did. We come out second half and we just stopped. We stopped moving. We stopped playing. We'd become predictable. Nothing was happening. We had to make a slight adjustment to personnel and shape. And to be fair, that kind of worked for us. We started to be a little bit more promising in that final third. But again, we just lack that killer instinct. We just lack that punch. And until that changes, we're going to be in games exactly like this. Because if we look at the results, yeah, okay, we've been on the favourable end of them, and they've all been close. In games where we've probably had more of the ball, in games where we've created 3 or 4 great chances, we've took 1, we've took 2, where we should be ruthless. We've got to be more clinical in front of goal, and until we do, we're going to get results like that.
Well, we just had a rather noisy train heading behind us, so apologies if the audio wasn't particularly good there. But it was Lutterworth who were on track in the early few minutes. We conceded a goal to Liam Reid. It just goes to prove that you can't give chances to a team with the striking capability of Lutterworth. I mean, were we prepared for the exploits of players like Reid coming into the game?
Look, we knew what they were going to bring to the table. We knew they were high energy, they were dynamic, they were dropping players into little half spaces and causing us problems, and we had to deal with that relatively early. The problem was we didn't deal with it too early enough. But as I said, after that 20-minute mark, I feel like we had it. We had the back three doing a job in terms of stepping in. They kind of ran out of ideas and we took control of the game. And I feel like if we were just sharp in that final third, we're scoring 2-3 goals there and the game's done, because you could tell by the end of the first half they were getting a little bit leggy. And I think if we'd have punished them when the times came, I don't think they'd have had a lot to give in that second half. The problem was, as I just said, was we gave them something to fight for. And for as long as there's something there to earn, for as long as there's a win in sight, they're going to keep going. We should have put the game to bed, we didn't, and we've come away with a point.
Well, thankfully Coxey was there to mop up an opportunity midway through the first half, taking advantage of a second choice goalkeeper who was still getting to grasp with the game. I mean, maybe if Warren Leighton was in goal, it wouldn't have reached Coxey, but he was there to take the opportunity when it fell to him. Yeah,
a good goal. So when the ball went in, I was like, overhit, and then Coxey just rose like a salmon at the back stick and nodded it in. But look, that's potentially a goalkeeping error. We can't rely on that. We create good chances in games, we create in good moments, we're playing some decent stuff at times, not all the time because it's not the finished article yet, but we are having some good moments and we're just not doing enough in that final third, and we have to change that. It's as clear as that. We have to change that final third. I think defensively we are relatively solid. We are pretty solid at the back, but up in that final third we need to do better. And it's not one singular person, I'm not going to single anyone out, but collectively as a unit we're having a lot of moments in and around the 18-yard box, but we're just not ruthless enough at this moment in time. It will come. I back the boys that we've got and I back the squad that we've got to keep growing in and perform better, more consistently, and become more ruthless. But like I said, today wasn't our night to go and win the game, but we'll take the point and we'll move on to Saturday in the FA Cup.
The first half had the supporters of both teams off their seat. It was a thrilling opening 45 minutes. Not so in the second half. As you mentioned earlier, both sides seemed to be a bit predictable. There was a lack of emphasis from both sides. What do you think that comes down to? Was it just being scared of making a mistake?
Do you know what? I don't think it was a lack of emphasis from both sides. I'm going to say it how it is. I think they absolutely battered us for about 25 minutes in that second half. We could not get near them. We could not getting it. So we had to change. We had to change something. I think maybe we're getting a little bit leggy. As with the pitch is massive. We know that. You know, I think both teams got a little bit leggy, but they had the ball. We had no other options. We were forcing things long. We'd stopped moving. We'd stopped getting on the ball. We'd stopped trying to make things happen, and that is a problem. And when you allow a team that will keep going when it's 1-1, that much time and space to get a chance. And again, if they were fresh and they'd kept maybe 1 or 2 players on for a little bit longer, maybe they would have carved out a chance. They didn't. They had to make some changes, which I think played in our favour, because when we made our change, it kind of counteracted what they did. And again, it then looked like we were in the ascendancy and we were going to do something. But again, look, I feel like a broken record repeating myself, but we have to be better in the final third. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else for me to say other than we're solid at the back. When we're on it, nearly swore there, but when we're on it, I think in the midfield we get the ball moving and we start playing and it looks good. When we're not, we're standing behind players, we're just waiting for things to happen. There was parts of that second half we had no real width. Everyone kept coming in and trying to play in little spaces when it's already crowded. We've got to think about where we're playing and what our aims and objectives are. And we go through it pre-game, we talk about it, we're on the touchline, we're going at half-time, we say what we need to do. Everyone knows that they were here for the taking tonight after that first half. And we come out in the second half, we let ourselves down. It's as simple as that. And until we sort that final third out in terms of being a little bit more ruthless in front of goal, these are going to be the results you're going to see.
You say that Lutterworth are here for the taking tonight. Do you see it as a point won or a 2 points lost tonight? It's
always a point won because you could have went away with 0, but I think in the grand scheme of things, given the fact that we did lose control of the game, we'll take a draw now at this point. We've obviously had Dan Moore save a penalty in the last minute of the game, or last 2 minutes of the game. But having said that, I feel like in the first half we've got a penalty completely a stone waller, and I'd love to see it again on video, to be honest, because Benji's knocked it sideways as if to lay it on Harkin's plate, but he's been wiped out by the goalie. I don't understand how that's not a penalty. The referee said the goalie stopped and Benji's momentum's tucking him into the goalie. That's not a realistic situation, and that's definitely not what's happened. And then obviously earlier in the game, Benji's gone through, poked it past the goalie. Goalie's knocked it out, it's fouled to Harkin, he's then scored, referee's blew for a free kick and booked. Benji, I don't understand what that is either. It's a challenge that they've come together. Benji's won the ball and then he's done it for a high foot. So again, look, it sounds like in that last little bit there's a bit of an excuse. It's not an excuse. I feel like in the first half, after that 10-15 minute spell they had to start with, we did enough to win the game. We should have won the game by half time. We should have been home and dry. We should come out in the second half, enjoy it, knock the ball around and make them chase us. We didn't do that. We gave them something to fight for. They controlled a large part of that second half. We changed it up. We come in the ascendancy. Again, didn't take our chances. Game's 1-1.
And finally, this is the last time we're at the Butts Park Arena until the end of September, with a mammoth 8-match away run starting on Saturday in the FA Cup. With it being a cup game and with a long stretch of away matches, there being maybe less expectation, is there less pressure on Coventry United heading into Saturday?
No. I mean, I think if you win here tonight at home, you go into the Abbey Alton game and think, you know what, it's the FA Cup. What will be will be. We obviously want to go and win every game we play, regardless of what round it is and what cup it is. We want to win every game we play, and that's what we'll be doing on Saturday. Obviously, if we lose on Saturday, you look at a draw, which, by the way, is not a bad result. A draw. I mean, a draw at this stage of the season is an extra point on the board, and we played these at a similar stage last season and lost 2-1 at their place. And at this stage last season, we didn't have 7 points on the board. So we're ahead of where we were last season, and look how that season ended up. And like I said, I back the squad, I back the boys. We will go Saturday, we'll aim to win the game. What will be will be. It's 22 men on a football pitch at the end of the day, and what the outcome will be will be. We will do all we can to win it. I'm sure they're going to do all they can to win it, and we prepare for, as you said, a mammoth set of away fixtures.
Well, we're certainly up for the cup, and we'll be there on Saturday. Thanks for your time.
Good, thank you.